Right. Welcome. Let's get into it. Today we are going to look into um, word clause. We'll continue from where we left off in the last class. We are going to be looking at word clause with logical operators. And to look at word clause with one logical operators and or not. Two, we are going to look at date ranges. How do we handle date ranges with where clause? And three, we're going to look into basic pattern matching. Right. So in the last class, we looked at how to filter our result set. So if we have a query that needs filtering, that is, we only want to get output based on some certain condition. We established in the last class that in that case you would want to use a where clause. Now, we saw cases of where clause with just one single condition, where salary is greater than so amount and stuff like that. But in some situations, you want to look at multiple conditions, right? And that is where logical operators come in. So we have three of those in SQL: the AND clause, the OR, and the NOT. So basically, we use the AND. So let's start here with logical operators. So basically, we use the AND clause in situations where we want the two conditions to be true. So if we are interested in the two conditions coming out as true, then we use AND. And what does that mean? It means that for a result and for a particular record to be part of the result set that we are going to be getting, then it is important that the two conditions that we are specifying, those particular record or that particular record must meet those two conditions. Then or is and does not have to be two, it can be more than two. So as many conditions, all of them must be true. Then in the case of or, we only want at least one of the conditions to be true with respect to that particular record. Then in the case of not, that is just like the opposite of the condition that we are looking at. But we'll see how that works in practice shortly. So let's take question one. And we're going to write a query that returns the names and let's say names, title, and title of courtesy of sales representatives in the United States. So basically, what we want to see here is we want to see two things. We want to fulfill two conditions, right? So we want to get names of the employees, but it has to be employees that are sales representatives and they stay in the United States. So how do we do that? We're going to say let's check. Like I always say, schema inspection is extremely important, especially when you don't know your way around the database. So the first thing you want to do is you want to check around the table and see where the informations that you need are going to come from. So here we see we have first name, last name in the employees table. We have title of courtesy. We also have title, and we have country. So we can go in here and say select first name, last name, title of courtesy, and title from, it's coming from my employee table. So if we just run this alone, we have, this output here. So what we want to do is we want to get, for just people that, if I should add country here, just to see where, to double check where the output is coming from. So we see that, there are a lot of USA and UK. So the two things I want to do is we want to make sure that all of the result sets are for sales representative and just those ones in the US, like sales representative in the US. So the likes of Paul Source will not make that list because he's a sales representative in the UK. Even though he is a sales representative, he is not in the US, he is in the UK. So stuff like that. And the likes of Maria would make it, Zoya also would make it, and you know, Judy also would make it. So how do we do that? The way to do that is we come to the where clause, and it's easy, pretty straightforward. We say where country equals USA and title equals sales representatives representative. So you do something like that. So if we run that, we see um, Yael and Maria. These are the two sales representatives that are from the US. All right. So we have um, the structure is basically this. First thing is the first condition goes into the way, and we say and. Then the second condition. But I should remove this just for a minute. So we check something. I thought we should have more than that. So let's look at it again. We had Yael, which is correct. Um, oh, Yael and okay. Oh, Judy is a sales manager. So I guess we are right. And Maria, yeah. So we are correct. So it's just two of them. So I'm going to return that. Right. So let's take second one. Let's take the second one too. And that is still going to be based on the AND clause. So we're going to say write a query that returns order ID, ship date, and um, ship date and freight cost of orders with freight cost above $50 sent to London. So that's going to be select, two conditions. Freight cost must be above 50 and the destination must be London. So how do we do that? The way to do that is to say select the ID, shipped date. You probably want to make sure you switch context to the table of interest. So the ID, shipped date, shipped date, freight Let's add ship city just to know if our where clause is correct. So from where is going to be from sales order till where, and what are the conditions? Freight has to be more than 50, destination has to be London. We say where freight is greater than 50 and ship city equals London. So if we should run this, yeah, so we see all of the orders that were sent to London with, the freight greater than 50. So there's no reason to like beat this so much. The idea is just to make sure that you write, the two conditions in the where clause and separate them by and make sure that before you use something like this, you want to be sure that you are interested in seeing outputs that fulfill both conditions. So, and if those things are mutually exclusive, especially coming from the same column, or just generally mutually exclusive, that is, they cannot exist together, then and is going to return an empty result set. And an example of that would be this question here. So we say three, write a query that returns the names and title of employees. Um, Actually, let's change that. Let's say write a query that returns the order ID, order date, and ship date. And ship date of orders sent to the US and UK. Let's say to the US, France, and UK. So something like this. Now it says we should write a query that returns the order ID, order date, and ship date of orders sent to the US, France, and UK. So we'll go select what did they ask us to return: order ID, order date, and ship date. So we say order ID, order date, ship date. Let's add ship country also so we know the outcome. We see the output that we are generating. So from sales order. So it's going to be where now, because the question says US, France, and UK does not mean this has to be and, because well, there is no single order that you can send to this. It is not physically possible for you to send one single order to these three locations. A single order must go to a particular place. And let's actually try that out and see. We say where ship country equals USA and ship country equals UK and ship country equals France. Now, this is going to return an empty result set. It is not going to show an error, but it is going to return an empty result set. And the whole idea behind that is, well, this is wrong because there is no single order that you can send to USA at the same time send it to UK as well as send it to France. It's not possible. It does not make sense. It has to go to one country, then another order will go to another country. So it makes this stuff mutually exclusive. So we say, or the right thing to put here is or. So if we go or then we run this. So we see, yeah. So we're seeing orders that were sent to France, some of them sent to the US, uh, to the UK also. So as long as the order is sent to any of these three countries, we return it in our result set. And another thing is, instead of um writing where ship country is this or that, imagine you have about like seven things to check. You just don't want to keep saying or. So that is where, let's call this one method one. That is where in comes in. So we use in to avoid one of the application, not general application. One of it is to avoid writing repeated ors. You don't want to keep writing or this or that. So the way to do that, let me just copy this to first. I do not advise that you copy code. The more you write, the more you build muscle memory and the better you get. So say where ship country in, then we can just go open this and say USA, UK, France. Perfect. So if we should run this, we are going to have the same output as the last one. So we use in, but one of the application of in, because that's not the only thing. We also use in to write subqueries. But one of the applications of in is to avoid writing multiple words. So it give us this cleaner way of writing things. Right. So let's look at not. Not. When do we use not? Let's call that the fifth one, I think. So fifth one we say write a query that returns the names of, say, the details of customers that are not in the in Germany, something like that. So how do we do that? We can go select star, since we are getting all of their details, so that is select all from customer, and we say where not, it should be where not something, where not ship country, where not country. Let's check our customer table to make sure that we do have country. So do we have country? We really do have country here. So we say where not country equals Germany. So the key takeaway from this one is we should always put the not in front of the stuff that we want to check. So we run this and we have our output here, and you're going to see that if you check the list of country names there, you are not going to find Germany there. All right. So that is the idea behind that. And there's nothing special about logical operators. Even if you have to check 10 of them, it's just knowing the right ones to do, how to put how to stack things together. So let's actually take question 6, and it's going to be one that merges everything together. All right. So we're going to write a query that returns orders sent to Germany. Um, let's see. I'm trying to think about it. Um, Okay. So I'm trying to think about it. Let's write this. I'm going to write a query that returns the order ID. No, no, okay. Let's just write, well, let's write the query that returns the company name. Returns the company name, sorry, company name, contact name, of customers. Let's add city and country. City and country of customers in any city in Mexico. In any city in Mexico, and okay, or or other cities, or other cities in Madrid, in Spain, except Madrid. Something like that. So we want to return company name, contact title, city, and country of all customers in any city in Mexico or other cities in Spain, or other cities in Spain except Madrid. So how can we do something like that? So the way you would do something like that is you select company name, contact name, city, country from customers. Yep. So the first condition is it has to be in any city in Mexico or other cities in Spain except Madrid. So one way you could do it is we say where country in, right? So we say where country in, then we can open this and say Mexico, comma Spain. Or you could do or if you want, right? So all of these condition we can wrap it and say and city not equals Madrid. Madrid. But since we learnt about not today, so don't let us use this type of not equals. So we say where not city, where not city, sorry, where not city equals Madrid, and so we go where not city, so we can wrap this in a bracket. So maybe put this on the next line, then remove this and. So if we run this, so first condition is that city is not Madrid and country is either one of Mexico or Spain. So every city in Mexico, every city in Spain, as long as the city is not Madrid. So if we run that, we have this. So we have all of these cities. You're going to see that you're having Mexico as a country, then Spain also. You're only seeing Mexico and Spain in the countryside. Then you can never find any city of Spain that is Madrid. Everything, you have Barcelona and Sevilla. You will never find Madrid there because of the way we've structured it. So it's really a thing of knowing how to combine this together. So this could also be where country equals Mexico or country equals Spain. I just find this in to be a lot more cleaner to look at. So that's the way that's basically logical operators for you. So let's get to the second half of this session of this class. So the other thing is date ranges. They are really easy to use. So how do we use date ranges? So we should say um, date ranges. So how does that work? So question 7. So firstly, let's check what our our orders table looks like. Select let's say order date from sales order. So if we run that, so this starts from 2006. So if okay, let's look at this. Let's say you want to return something like we want to return, write the query that returns the details of orders sold on the 23rd of December 2006, something like that. So in this case, this is not, I just want to show you this first. This is not a date range, it's just like a fixed date. So if we do, since we are returning the details, select star from sales order, where order date equals. Now, date also, for the most part, date behaves like, the way the other data types in um, SQL behaves. So you don't really have much to change, except the fact that, like varchar, date also has to be in quote, and you go year first, year, month, date, like that. So we can do 2006, 12, 23. And if I should run this, let's hope there is okay. Yeah, we have two orders on that particular day. So are the two orders sent on that day. And now, what about range now? So let's look at, when we want to like look over a range of dates, so things become different. So if we say write a query that returns the details of orders sold in December 2006. So that's a bit different. So we say select star, but the difference is not that much, to be honest. So we say select star from sales order, where order date. Now the keyword in this case is between, because we are looking at a range of date. So it is going to be between this day, and it's really just like English language. So we say where order date between, and we go, first day of December, that is going to be 2006, 1201, and 2006, 1231. So, the same is true for any range that you want to look at. You want to look at the first quarter of the year, half of the year, 3 months difference, anything. So you're going to see that if you look at this other date here, literally starts from 2 and goes on till 31. Yeah. So that is the way. There's really no reason for us to beat date ranges a lot. This is just how you structure it. So if somebody should say first half of the year, second half of the year, stuff like that, all you have to just do is make sure that you understand how to translate that into a range. Then you can start from the first day till the last day, right? Within that particular range. Yeah. So that is date range for you. As we proceed in the course, you are going to see how, much more effective ways of handling dates, with functions, month function, year function, last day function, and stuff like that. But basically, this is the basics of handling date ranges. Now, the next thing we want to look at, which is the last thing in this particular lesson today, is pattern matching. How do we match pattern matching? So to match pattern, what is pattern matching to begin with? For example, let's look at select I think address. Let's look at cost orders table. I think there is something. Oh, customer also has an address. So let's check select address. from customer, right? From customer, not customers. So if we run that, see that we have all of these addresses, and some of them as AV. Let's just say this AVA, all these AV dots, they are avenues, and there are going to be some of them. Can you see we have AVE, we have some of them as AV dot and AVE dot, and probably maybe some of them are going to just be avenue written completely. And we actually want to get the full thing, right? We want to get the full, we want to get all of the customers that lives in avenues, whether it was written as AVE or AV dot. I want to see if product has, if sales order has something like address. Okay, there's ship address in sales order. Let's see if that offers something like that. So we say from sales order, right? So let's run this. We have a few. Do we have? Yes, I've started seeing some. Some maybe let's use this because there are much, more results here. So what we are going to do is we are going to come here and say, okay, sorry, Control Z. Yeah. So let's write the question 9. So write a query that returns the address, that returns all the address that has EV in it. So the way you would do that is you say select ship address from sales order, then we say where ship address, and what we use is the clause called like. Say like, then in quote, I've been using double quote. I know that by now you understand that there is really no difference between single and double quote in SQL. So where ship address like, then what we want to look for is AV, whether AV is in front or at the back or somewhere in the middle. So long as there is AV somewhere there, we want to see. So we say AV, right? And it has to be quote a percentage at the front, percentage at the back. Meaning, if you can find AV anywhere at all, return this thing for us. So if we should run this, we see that even places where we have all this Gustavo stuff, they are returned because they have AV in it. See, Avenue has AV, then Avenue also here, then a lot of other ones like that. So if it is something like AV dot, I guess if you run this, oh, we don't have any. So if it is AVE, just to show you how that works, probably be seen only Avenue. Can you see we're only seeing Avenue? So, and if it is just AV, we're going to be seeing all of that. Now, let's say the goal is to see just the one starting with a particular thing. So I say write a query that returns the names of employees starting with letter J. I think there's somebody with letter J. So we say select first name, comma last name from employee, where let's check if we should use first name or last name first because I don't know which one. Okay, I think in first name somebody's name starts with J. J. Okay, so let's go back here and say where first name, like, then we go like this. Since we want it to start, so we go J and we use percentage sign. That is, the first name has to start with J, then anything else can come after it. That's what this means. So can run that. Oops, let's do maybe capital J, with capital J, and we run that. Okay, yeah, so it's case sensitive in this case. So we see Liu, Judy Liu. Then if we come here, let's just take question 11, which is going to be the last one that we look at in this lesson. So let's just copy this, Control C, and in this case, we are going to see if there is anybody's name that ends with A, ending with letter A. So we can do select first name, my last name from employee, where first name, like, so since this is ending, we'll go percentage in front, meaning anything can start it, A just has to end it. Then we, excuse me, then we end this quotes and end this. Oh, sorry, this is wrong. Right, so we run this. So we see these three people, Sarah, Maria, and Zoya. Their first name, ended with letter A. So that's basically how to do, logical operators, date ranges, and pattern matching. So let me give you three things to work on. So number one is, okay, let's say assignments, or maybe even two. So exercise that I hope you do. One, so I'm going to return the details of orders sent to London or any American city in the last quarter of 2006. So, like this one alone covers date ranges and logical operators for us. Then let's just add one more to it. We say return customer cities that starts with let customer addresses that starts with letter A. So let's do these two, and if we're able to do these two, then it would mean that what we covered in this particular lesson makes sense. And like I always say, we just need to practice more. The more we practice, the more we get comfortable with writing SQL. So thank you very much. See you in the next one. Bye.